hello, hello. I am Shannon Smith. I am the Inspiration Team Director at Brutus, Monroe, and I am really excited to be with you tonight. And I am excited that we have a special guest. So I would like to bring on Christopher.
Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. I'm excited to be with everybody tonight because I'm not usually live late at night anymore. And I asked Shannon if I could join her tonight and we could kind of create together and also kind of figure out the inner workings of this new system of us being able to go live together. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
And I can see your comments. So excited.
Oh, I can see them too. Hi, Candy. Hi, Penny. Hi, Desert Rose. Hi, Luann. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Anne Marie. They're all joining in.
This is going to be so much fun.
Yes.
I hope that you'll be patient with us as we might work out a couple of kinks, but I think we should be okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right.
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first. This is your show. I'm just here.
Okay. Well, both of us have prepared a project tonight, so you get double the fun. So, first of all, I do want to thank Darren for moderating, and he's able to control the cameras. Even though we're far apart from each other, we still can play. I'm so excited. I wanted to craft with Christopher for 3 years. Now I finally get to. So, woohoo! All right. So, if you have not been paying attention this week to our social media, we have a brand new release. We have a brand new spring release, I should be specific. And we've been playing around a lot with it. Christopher has gone live several times this week, so make sure you check in the videos so that you can catch up on anything you may have missed. And I'm going to feature one set and he's going to feature another one. So, and Darren will also put up links tonight where you can see everything that we use. Okay. So first off, if I've got the Smells Like Spring. Sorry, I'm getting used to where the cameras are. So this is the Smells Like Spring stamp set. It's a 6x8 stamp set. And you can see it's got all of these. Let me see. Well, we'll just do it this way. And we're going to use some of this tonight. This set is so versatile. Look at all of these pieces. You can do so many things with this. Seriously, the possibilities are endless. So I'm going to do just a really simple card. And especially if you don't love to color, this is going to be the card for you, because this is a card that I think you can do fairly quickly. And it looks like you spent more time on it than you did. Those are my favorite kind. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've cut down a piece of Perfect Blend paper. This is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I love Perfect Blend. Perfect Blend, best paper ever. So I'm just going to use my little mini Misty, and it's looking kind of rough right now, so no judgment, right? It just means that I've been having fun. All right, so I chose 3 blossoms that are about the same size. I used the little, I'm not sure, is this a peony? I think it's a peony. And this one I think for sure is a peony or a cabbage rose or something. And then this little flower here. So I am not a green thumb, so I couldn't tell you for sure what these flowers are. I just know they're pretty.
All my beans says fine, get food.
What was that?
I disappeared, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I can scroll up.
Kelly says, so excited to see you tonight.
Hi, Jenny. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lenore. Hi, Jerry. I noticed we've missed a few people. Let's see. If I've missed anybody, I do apologize. Hi, Laurie. Hi, Mackie. Hi, I think we said hi to Penny. If not, hello, Penny. Let's see. I just want to make sure I didn't forget anybody really quick. That is something I will have to get used to, is looking up to see the chat, which I'm excited to be able to see. Okay, so I'm using Raven ink. I'm going to move my platform over a little bit. And I am using all 3 stamps at the same time because we're going to make a background. I'm just going to use my little pressure tool. If you haven't been on with me before, I'll just tell you how I made my little block. I just took a piece of felt and stuck it on my acrylic block because I don't use my acrylic blocks very often, but ironically I am using them tonight. But anyway, I just put that on there, and that was one little pressure evener outer. Okay, let me ink that one more time for good measure. All right, and now I'm just going to, you could probably just flip them around, but I'm kind of particular, so I'm going to just move them where I want them. Oh, glad I didn't do it yet because I see I missed a spot. I'm going to press a little extra hard there on this little go.
I got kicked out for a second again.
There we go. All right, so now I'm just going to flip it over, work my pattern some more. And I am leaving a little more space than I sometimes do. I need to remind myself to, because we're going to add some leaves to our pattern.
It's looking great.
Well, thank you. Whoa. Do your magnets ever join up on you?
Every day.
Yeah, and pinch your finger?
Yep, every day.
That's where, you know, you might hear a word or two that you wouldn't typically hear from me. Okay, so we'll just get our last couple on there. And don't be afraid to put them so they're coming off of the paper. It has a nicer flow if they're not all just on the paper. So let's see, we need another one of these. Let's put that one right here. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Donna. How are you? Oh, good. I'm catching up. I told you it's going to take me a little time to get used to looking up. All right, so I think we need one more, and then I think we'll call this good. Let's do one right here. Am I staying in the right spot? That way. Okay. Let's see. I think.
Move towards the camera a little bit, Mark.
Yeah, I'm about done with this part, so I can move the Misty, and that'll give me a little bit more space. Oh, actually, one more thing. I just am going to use a little scratch piece of Perfect Blend, and I'm going to stamp them all one more time.
Hello, Kate. Hello, Gina. I'll say the hellos for you while you're creating.
Sounds good. Now these ones I don't need to leave any room around because these ones are going to get cut out. And if you have the dies, then that eliminates another step. Well, at least a more fussy step, right? Because I know Christopher loves to fussy cut.
My arch nemesis. Yes, Anne-Marie. So it'll only be like this week. So I'm just special guesting this week Normally on the regular Fridays, it will just be Shannon and Darren with you.
All right.
I'm still here. I'm just in the background this time.
Darren?
He's just the man behind the curtain.
That's right. He's like the wizard.
Yep.
Okay. So now the next step is the really simple coloring. So I'm going to take my Simon Hurley inks. I've got Roar, Shooting Star, and Prom Queen. Candy, I didn't use Clear Skies. Can you believe it? And then I'm going to take these Ranger blending tools, and all I'm going to do, I'm just going to ink them up, and I'm going to choose, let's see, what did I do on my original? I'm going to use this one for this flower. And because the flowers are about the same size as the dauber, it works out great. So look, it looks like I just sat and colored it. And I'm okay with the ink going around it. It's a messier look, but I like that look. I think it's kind of nice. It softens it a little bit. And then we'll do this one.
Penny, Darren needs a camera on him. He could be like Gina K's husband, Tom.
There you go.
But he comes on camera so we can see him too.
Did you hear that, Darren?
Yeah.
Darren is not one that lets his picture be taken or anything very often. He's camera shy, I will say.
He did just show his avatar for like 1 second though.
No, that's pretty good for him. Oh, and don't forget to color these guys too.
Hello, Dion. She said, no, that's a profile shot.
Okay, so far we've got our yellow done, and you saw that took like 2 seconds, right? So now let's do our orange. This is Roar. The other one was Shooting Star. What's your favorite Simon Hurley color?
Mine, it's a toss-up. So and it's different because of the different families. So I love No Diving is my absolute favorite, hands down. Of all of the, I guess it would be between hands down and Prom Queen. I love both of those. So
see, I would have guessed Traffic Cone.
Yeah, well, Traffic Cone, I kind of like Guppy more than Traffic Cone if we're going to talk about oranges. So
yeah,
I like Guppy's a little bit more muted, but the ones that I find myself using the least are Roar and Woof, or Gur and Woof, and I think it's, hold on, let me look now. Oh no, Roar is my favorite orange. I'm sorry. So Roar is my favorite orange. It's
Gotcha.
it's like the deepest,
the
deepest
darker
of the
orange.
but I've been using Viper a lot more recently. And
I do like that color.
it's a beautiful green. It's a really,
it really
beautiful
is. It's funny because Prom Queen is my second favorite, which is odd because I love pink so much.
Yeah.
But Clear Skies is my very favorite, and I like Prom's Queen next, and then I probably like Tropical Tango. But there's so many colors. You can't go wrong.
See,
They're all beautiful.
Tropical Tango is my favorite lunar paste of the lunar.
Oh, okay.
It's a really, really pretty. I mean, I love the color as it is, but the Tropical Tango lunar paste is just absolutely, absolutely beautiful.
I have that lunar paste. I don't know if I've tried it yet. I've tried most of them, but I'm going to try it. You know, I am now.
It's this one right here. It's just absolutely beautiful. I wish I could pan over to show. They all love your organization behind you, Shannon.
Oh, yeah? Thank you. That was a new find for the week.
I wish I could show you the madness that's next to me, but my camera won't pan over there. But over here, next to me in this wall, my wonderful in-office team, they built this incredible shelving. I'll have to take a picture of it and share it. That is every single Brutus Monroe product that has ever existed is on the shelving.
I love that.
With the exception of retired stamps. We have a big archive for all of the retired stamps.
I was going to say, how did they fit them all?
There's a lots of, I mean, there are, I think, 27 shelves next to me. There's a lot of stuff.
That's
So if I
awesome.
ever need to grab anything, it is there.
I'm just taking 2 of the leaves from the set, and I'm using, right now I'm using Later Gator, and I'll use the smaller leaf with fake plant, and I'm just finding little spots where I can just fit it in.
Shannon says you TikTok video to show your shelves.
I just need to clean the other half of my room where there's everything has a place. That's what I struggle with, is giving everything a place. And I will do that. I will make a TikTok. I'm almost there. I keep reorganizing before I finish. So I gotta just dig in and get it done.
Yeah, I don't have to run anywhere to get. It's crazy because we actually have 2 of everything in the studio. So, well, 2 of almost everything. And over on this side, someday I'll show you, we have a whole, it's like a, I guess it's like a standby area where everything and kind of a behind the scenes situation is. When I go live, there's always a Brutus Monroe employee here with me. It's usually Heather, sometimes it's Jess, sometimes it's Ani, sometimes it's Tracy. The list goes on, but they always are standing by with something else in case something goes wrong with what I'm doing. And 9 times out of 10, Heather is actually creating the exact same thing that I'm creating, just in case something goes terribly awry so we don't interrupt the live.
That's awesome.
Desert Rose, you would have the time of your life in this studio. There's, I mean, everything you could ever want to be creative exists here. I'm literally sitting across from, I think, 16 Misties.
I don't know how I ever did it
I don't
without
have
a Misty.
re-inkers. Or
What
I
was
would.
that?
Everybody keeps telling me I need to re-ink my ink pads. I need to order the re-inkers.
You kind of have to have them to do it.
Yeah. This is how I'll show everybody. We got this. This is just some of the, this is one of those I don't know what they call this on Amazon, but it's like a compact stand, I guess. And we have several of these, and this is how we store. I'll have to find the link for it, but this is how we store all the Misties and the plates and stuff. It's so nice.
That would be great for like gel presses too, because I know they're supposed to.
I can't remember what it's called, but I'm so lucky because I have a team of ninjas that come in and they swoop in and they clean everything and fix everything.
All right, now I just am a little jealous.
It's,
okay,
yeah,
so far, let me hold on. This is what I've done so far. Can you see that?
So beautiful.
And so easy and quick. So now
yeah.
I'm just going to do one last little thing to this part before we move on. So I'm just going to take, this is shady. This is one of those ink pad colors that you might, if you are just starting your collection, you're like, oh, wait to get gray. It's gray. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is such a useful color to have in your inks.
I feel the same way.
Right? So I hope you can see this. I'll do it down a little lower so you can see. I'm just using a little bit of it on my glass mat, or a lot of it, even though I don't need that much. And just getting a little spritz on there. And then I'm just going to take a paintbrush. You can just use a water brush, but I didn't have one handy.
That's so pretty and colorful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Beautiful.
This set is so pretty. Really, it'd be hard to mess it up because it's so pretty. Is it looking like spring yet where you live?
Maggie said she loves it. It's so easy to foam pads. It's really pretty.
What was that?
Maggie said she loves how you cut it so easy with foam pads.
Oh, thanks, Mackie. Oh, I had my cursor on top of your comment, so I couldn't see it. Okay, I'm learning things. All right, let me just wipe off my glass mat so I don't lay my card right in it, because I'm telling you now, that is something I would do. Okay, so now this part's done, and I'm going to spare you all and not fussy cut these while I'm on here. I fussy cut them earlier, so I've got them all right here.
Oh,
And I took a couple of leaves from our okay, what is my favorite die set? Who knows?
I know what it is, but I can never remember the name.
Fabulous Florals. I just love this. I just love the way the leaves work so easily into all of the florals. They have good movement. I just love them. All right, so I've got a piece of black that I've cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to add I moved all my stuff around today, so bear with me while I remember where I put it all. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. Isn't that the way it usually goes? I'm just going to glue this on to the mat. And I'm going to move it over to the white so I can actually see what I'm doing. And that is pretty straight. I can't promise it's exactly straight. And then I'm just going to emboss a little saying on here. I love all the sayings in this set. We've got, I can't read upside down, with caring thoughts, smell the flowers, gorgeous, beautiful, I love you, and have a lovely day. I think I'm going to use have a lovely day. I feel like that's a card I would send, or I use a lot of the caring thought ones too. Maybe I'll do that one. I'm going to do that one. Okay. So I've just got a little piece of black that I cut to the same width of the mat. And I'm just going to remove all these flowers real quick. I'm going to put it down there so that I don't. I'll move this over so you can see me do it, but okay. So I'm just going to take first thing that I always forget, I don't know about you, but remembering to use my magic powder bag is sometimes a challenge for me. Okay, and I have way tons of that on there that I don't need, but that's okay. So let's see if we can kind of get that on there straight. Okay. Just going to ink that up real good. If you have not tried our embossing ink, it is amazing. I love it.
I'm using it tonight too.
Hey.
Donna, we have not shown the inspiration box yet for this month. I'm showing it on Monday.
All right.
But I can promise you that I'm sure that Shannon, as soon as she gets hers, will be using it as well.
Yep. I will definitely use it next week. Okay. So now I'm just using some alabaster. Did you know that you can buy alabaster embossing powder in a great big jar like this? This is, how many ounces is this, Christopher?
It's 6.
6 ounces. Okay, if you use alabaster as much as I do, you'll be glad that you can buy it in such a big container.
It's supposed to be the equivalent to 6 of these jars, but my mom oversees the filling of the jars, and I promise you there's a lot more than 6 jars in there.
It feels like more than 6 jars. It's amazing. I have like a lifetime supply.
Yeah.
I have this and I have gilded because those two are like, if you don't have any other embossing powder, you have to have those two. But I would say that you want penny too, because it's really pretty. And if I go on and on, I think I could go on forever on how many you need. Okay. All right, and with that, we've got our embossed image. And then you can just take, if you have the dry cloth, that works really well. I don't have mine handy, so I'm just going to use my microfiber one. But you see I'm not actually touching this yet because I want it to cool for a second, because I don't want to make an imprint into the embossing. So Christopher, what is your favorite embossing powder?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. My mother sent me a text message and said I was being too noisy organizing my things.
Oh.
So my all-time favorite is hands down Raven Sparkle. It is just out of this world beautiful. I think I like it so much because it's not like a black glitter inside of the black embossing powder. It is like a holographic black. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I'll show it whenever I'm up. But I like it because it's just so different. And then Rainbow Sparkle, of course, which is one of the all-time best-selling embossing powders at Brutus Monroe.
I also love fairy dust.
Oh yes,
Goes with it. Just can turn your project into magic so quickly.
Oh, yes.
So I'm just going to add our sentiment to our card real quick. Can you see? Let me look where I'm. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm in the camera view. I love a white sentiment on black paper.
Me too. But you have to have the right embossing powder, because I know that there's probably men out there that have used other embossing powders and whew, it flakes everywhere. It's everywhere. Marla, yes, our clear embossing powder is called Icicle.
I'm going to teach you one other thing. Have you guys ever had and Darren, I'm sorry, I don't know if, and Christopher, I'm sorry. Hopefully you know right off the bat. Do we have these in stock? These
I do not think we have them in stock right now, but I just did see them on the incoming. So I think that they should be here next week.
Okay, so typically people use these to sharpen their little paper stumps for coloring, but sometimes, like if I haven't been vigilant about keeping my blade sharp on my paper cutter, you know, you get those little frayed edges. Oh, sorry. You know how you kind of get those frayed edges? I just sometimes will just use the edge of this to just take them off. I mean, it's easier than trying to cut them off. You don't run the risk of cutting into what you've got, and it only takes like a little second to do that, and it makes your card look so much neater.
You have to move your card towards the center of your. There you go.
I will definitely do that. Okay, so now I'm going to attach the card to the base. And y'all know how I feel about our card bases. They are amazing. So I'm that person who likes to buy the fun stuff when I'm making a purchase, and I have a harder time going, oh yeah, I need that. You know what I mean? The staples are not as fun to buy, right? But they're necessary. Well, I can't be without these. These are, once I had them, I can't be without them now because I love them so much. And they do come, you get like 5 in your inspiration kit each month. And you'd be surprised how far that will take you. All right, so I'm just going to get some foam to pop up my flowers a little bit. I might use the smaller ones just so I have a little more room to wiggle the leaves underneath. I don't want that one there because it's right on top of another pink one. Let's put that one up here. And let me get another small one. So you can even, if you want even more depth, you can add an extra foam square so that you have different heights. We'll try that on this one. See if it's too tall or not. Nope, I like that. Do we want it up here though? Let's put it up here. And then we'll tuck that orange one underneath. And now they're all at different heights. All right, let's add our leaves. So my adventure today was chasing after my dogs. I opened the door because we had a grocery order and they just took off.
That seems like a reoccurring dream.
You know, it hasn't been until recently. I think they have spring fever.
Yeah, probably. I know.
I think now that my dog feels better and has recovered, he got attacked. Well, he went into the neighbor's yard and the pit bull got him, which was his own dumb fault. But still, I think because he recovered from that, now he's feeling like he's bigger and badder than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Darn it.
I think that's generally how it works with them.
I guess. Little Maltese.
Yeah.
Okay. Look how quickly that came together.
Beautiful.
See that? I'm still trying to figure out where the camera is. Okay. So I'm going to turn the reins over to you, Christopher.
Okay. Hello, everyone. How exciting was that? So I am super, super excited because I am going to be doing a little bit of ink smushing tonight. So I have to figure out my camera again because I had the camera zoomed and then there was an issue with the zoom and you know how all that goes. So I eventually everything will make sense. So what I'm using this evening is I'm using the Fresh Flowers stamp. And I really, really love this stamp. Mine has been used and abused already. I mean, I've made so many samples with this. So that's why it doesn't look as fresh, no pun intended, as it once did. But when you're using the Brutus Monroe Raven ink, it will stain your stamps. It is not a bad thing. A stained stamp is a very, very happy stamp. So stained stamps it's a good thing. I'm also going to be using some aqua pigment paper. I'm using the slimline size of the aqua pigment paper. I don't think a lot of folks know that we have slimline aqua pigment paper, which is really a necessity if you ask me if you're making anything slimline, just for the simple fact that it's really, really not wonderful, I guess you could say, to go in and cut apart a whole bunch of pieces of your good alcohol, or not good alcohol, your good aqua pigment paper, excuse me, or watercolor paper just for a slimline card. So we sell them in a 10 sheet pack and they're 8.5 by 3.5 and they're already cut down. They're already cut down and ready to go. I'm also going to be using our slimline card bases. This is another awesome thing to have. The slimline card bases are 8.5 by 7.5, 8.5 by 7, and you get 20 in the pack. Now, the slimline card bases are not pre-scored, and that's not an accident. That's on purpose. And the reason that we didn't pre-score them is because there are a lot of folks that will utilize these as a half fold as well. So we didn't want to make it so that you could only use it one way. So you can either do it this way and then it becomes a mini slim, or you can do it this way and it becomes a normal slimline. So it works out really, really well either way. Then I'm going to be using a whole bunch of different aqua pigments. I don't have all of the colors named because I don't know exactly what colors I'm going to use yet, but I'll talk about them as I begin to use them. And then I'm just going to be using a piece of our, this is our shrink film. I like to use our shrink film as a palette when I'm ink smooshing. You can use our zhuzhing sheets. You can use acetate. I just really like how the ink kind of pills up on this material. It's also really great if you were to use like a piece of Mylar. Perhaps maybe we'll come out with cut sheets of Mylar that you can use as well.
Did you say that shrink film?
Yeah, this is just a piece of our shrink film. So I
never even thought of that. What a smart
and
idea.
it cleans up really, really easily once you're all done. So you can reuse it just as your shrink film. But I just use a piece of that, and it just pills so well, the liquid on there. Also, I'm going to be using some of the Raven embossing powder. My Raven embossing powder is so old that it still has our old logo on it, but it still works just the same. I think I've had this Raven embossing powder probably for like 5 or 6 years, but it still works great. So I will continue to use it as long as it still works for me. So I'm going to grab the Misty first, and I'm going to use the Misty to stamp out my stamp here. So I'm going to pull all the bits and baubles out of it because we don't need any of these bits and baubles because we are going to be stamping on the full background. So let me get my magnets out there, and I don't want them to snap up on me. We've already had one snapping magnet incident this evening.
And we even avoided any curse words. So
yes. So I'm going to grab my piece of aqua pigment paper. Remember, aqua pigment paper has two sides to it. One side is smooth and one side is much rougher. So I'm going to work with the smooth side tonight. And of course, the slimline paper will fit perfectly inside of our Misty, and it also will sit perfectly on our stick and stamp mat. I highly, highly suggest if you are doing anything that involves a large stamp and your Misty to get yourself a stick and stamp mat because you don't have to use magnets. Now, I'm still going to use my magnets on the sides here just so that my stick and stamp mat doesn't move or shift, but you do not need the magnets. You can just kind of shift it right back down to where it's supposed to be, and you'll be good to go. So I'm going to grab my Fresh Flowers stamp, and I actually really, really like when they have the a little bit of the staining on them, because then I can see where I'm positioning them. That really, because see that? I can see exactly where that stamp's going to be because it's stained. Hi, Sue. All right. So I'm going to position this so that I'm getting the biggest bang for my buck, which I think is probably going to be right about there. And we're just going to go ahead and we are going to stamp it with some of the Brutus Monroe ink. So this is the Brutus Monroe embossing ink. And I'm just going to go ahead and ink it up.
I didn't notice. Did you already use the magic bag, or do you not use the magic bag?
I didn't use the magic bag. I rarely use the magic bag on the watercolor paper because I've noticed if I use the magic bag, and others may have a different experience than I do, I've noticed that the watercolor paper, the embossing ink doesn't like to stick really, really well to the aqua pigment paper when you use the magic powder bag. Only because it's like a cotton. So I think that, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that if you stamp it, 4 or 5 times, that it would be just fine. But I've never had luck with using it on the aqua pigment paper. But now we'll see. Now what'll happen is I'll get 7 million.
I'm so sorry.
Little black
dots. Blame me.
Now that I didn't use it, but you can also use, and I've shown this a couple of times before. You can use the Brutus Monroe dry cloth as well, which I'm not going to show today because it's out of stock. And I showed it last week and I got in big, big trouble. Everyone was very mad at me because we don't have them in stock. But the magic or the dry cloth will really take any lint or debris off of your background or your paper that you're using. So I'm just going to make sure that it's stamped really, really well. And I'm actually going to set this to the side for a second before I pull it off because I need to grab some Brutus Monroe grid paper. This just came back in stock, and this is how it comes to you. So it comes in a big pack like this, and it has 25 sheets in it. They're 8.5 by 14 inches. We did our grid mats so they weren't ginormous. There are some grid mats out there that are on the market that you have to like clear off your workstation to use them. I didn't need all that. I just needed a simple size. And the great thing about the grid mat is it obviously is measured, but it has notes, a place to stamp off, and also all of the common card measurements are here. I find myself pulling this out even when I don't use the grid mat so I can see common card sizes, because I forget. I forget constantly what common card sizes are, and I've been making cards for a long time. So
is your black mat glass, or is it just regular?
This is just a regular. This is the Vantage cutting mat. I don't use the glass mat a whole lot anymore because we have, and one day I'll have to show you, we have very bright studio lights in here. There's 2 here, 1 above, and then there's some behind me. And the glass mat picks up every single light that is in.
That's what I was going to ask you, is because I struggle with that too.
Yeah, so I had to stop using it. Although I love it. I mean, I love the glass mat for ink smooshing and things like that. But it just wasn't working for me, because every single light, I found myself like trying to cover where where it was. So all right, so now I'm going to grab the Raven embossing powder. And I'm just going to sprinkle this right on top.
Penny says Darren is fancy because he can make QR codes.
Oh, yes. It's wonderful. It's great. It's I will say it is a sigh of relief to be able to have someone that is doing all of that stuff behind the scenes, because it's, for a very long time I was obviously doing it all myself and trying to hit the buttons and trying to keep up with comments and keep up with everything. But we don't have to do that anymore, because now we have Darren in the control center.
Penny is fabulous too, and so is Candy at catching those.
Oh, absolutely. But unfortunately, Penny and Candy can't change the cameras for us. So
that is very true.
That's definitely the thing that I am loving the most, is being able to. And also, just so you all know, thank you for scanning the QR codes that are there, because we can actually see. We can't see who scanned it, but we can see at the top how many people have scanned it, and that really helps us out to know which products you like, which products you don't like, which products you want to look at, because we get a report at the end letting us know which products you scanned the most, which collections you scanned the most, and that really helps us to know what to bring you and what to do. Penny said, well, if I was a good hacker, I could. That's great. So here's what this looks like before it is heat set. So, I mean, does it get, can we have a moment of silence for the detail of that embossing powder? Because it just does not get better than that. It really doesn't. It really does not get better than that. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to use my heat tool. Donna, what are you watching on? Are you watching on like an iPad? Because you can scan with your phone, you can scan with an iPad. So I'm just heating this up. And it's going to take a minute because this is a big stamp. But it is so worth it once it's all heated up.
Susan and Ashley said hi to you too.
What was that? I'm sorry?
Susan and Ashley say hi to you.
Oh, hello. I think I saw Stacy say hello too, but I was in the middle of my spiel. So hello to everyone. Okay, so to anyone, and I forget this often, that would I use my phone to scan my iPad screen? Yes. So you're going to take your phone, you're going to open it up to the camera, and then when you see the little link pop up, just click on the link and it'll take you to exactly what we're working on.
Hi, Luann.
Or what we're using, I'm sorry. So to anyone that doesn't know what embossing is, because I forget all the time, and I think you might be in the same boat with me, Shannon, that not everybody knows what we do, day in and day out. But with embossing, so what you do is when you use the embossing ink, it is a clear ink. Ours is oil based. It's not really a sticky ink, so it will never dry until you either heat set it and it soaks into the paper, or when you put something on top of it, like an embossing powder. So when you place the embossing powder on it, which is an ultra fine milled plastic that doesn't have any additives to it, there's a lot of embossing powders that they can add an additive to it, like a wax additive, that will make more bulk, but it doesn't work as well. So if you've ever used a very inexpensive embossing powder and it smells really waxy, or it has like a very, very serious odor to it, that's because there's additives that have been added to it. So obviously you can take, a wax, add it to this, bulk up the product and sell it for much cheaper, but it's not the pure embossing powder. And that's what the Brutus Monroe is. You don't have that waxy kind of burnt rubbery odor that comes from it. And then once it's completely heat set, you will notice that it becomes raised and shiny. Now, one of the big differences, but from the Brutus Monroe embossing powders to others embossing powders, is that ours is super, super, super ultra fine. So you can see the details that we're getting from that, and it's just wonderful.
I was just thinking that's already pretty. You could throw a sentiment on that, and it's already pretty.
Makes me so happy. So I'm going to go ahead, and I am going to grab my dry cloth. Everybody, please forgive me. We will have them back in stock soon, but I use my dry cloth all the time to dry, to clean off all the extra powders and stuff that are on my desk. This dry cloth, it went from, we had a whole bunch of them, and then we started talking about them, and then we went through like 500 of them in like a week. So we're getting this back soon, I promise, but it's great for grabbing your glitter, and it's also great for going over top of your projects and getting all the static and the grease and stuff from your hands off of it. This is not like a microfiber cloth. It's very different. If you have one of these, it's very, very different from a microfiber cloth. Okay, so now we're going to do some ink smushing or zhuzhing, or whatever you want to call it. I usually call it zhuzhing, but it's whatever you want to call it. Let me grab, sorry, excuse my reach, everyone. But again, remember I told you I was the luckiest guy in the world. This is how they organize all of my sprays and all of my alcohol, my aqua pigments. So I'm going to grab those and put those to the side over here, because then I won't have to reach all the way across.
Proctor says she loves that you're live tonight, and she says that she and her son were remembering when you let him be on the very first Brutus Monroe design team way back when she was on it. Yeah, he's now 17.
And fun fact, Monique, your blog post where you used one of our very first paper pads is still one of the most read blog posts that we have at Brutus Monroe. It was when you created the carousel card. It's still very, very popular. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm just going to start adding some colors. So I'm starting with, she said, okay, I see you're using that nice streaming software. Okay. Yes, Lisa, we have upgraded. Actually, the crazy thing is we've always had this. It will be at 6 p.m., Jerry, 6 p.m. So I'm just going to add just a couple little drops of the aqua pigment, and you don't want to get too crazy with this, because you are going to soak all of this up once we're done. We're going to lay it on top, and it's going to just kind of land where it lands. And this is, if you are super controlling with the way that your cards are colored, this is not going to be for you. This is not for you. But you know me, I come from a place of really just kind of being messy and funky and fun. And I like to get messy, and I like to experiment. And the nice thing about ink smushing or zhuzhing is that what's going to happen at the end of this is we are still going to have the structure of the stamp in the background, but all of these colors are going to pull into these different areas of it, and it's going to kind of sit, and I think it's going to look really, really cool. So let's see, any questions or any concerns out there? I think we're pretty good. Yeah. So
I love anything that's forgiving.
What? I'm sorry?
I love any technique that's forgiving.
This is it. Yes. So I just took my Distress sprayer. I love this sprayer because of the nozzle. It's great because if you pull it lightly, it spritzes little water droplets. If you pull it more aggressively, it is going to give you a much more robust small stream. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap this in, and it's going to make you all real nervous. I know it will, because you're not going to know what it is until you lift it up. So I'm going to lift it up once, and you're going to see the beautiful colors that are starting to develop.
Ooh, that is so pretty.
So what you'll do is you'll start once, and then you're going to dip it back in. So if you see that there's not color, you're going to dip it back in, and you can dip this as many times as you would like. So I'm going to go and I'm going to dip it one more time here. I'm going to dip it over here. But now the whole shebang, so to speak, of this is now you want to let it dry. So I'm going to heat it a little bit, not too crazy because we don't want to reactivate our embossing powder. But the Brutus Monroe aqua pigments are actually water reactive once they're dry. So once this dries, I'll be able to go in and add additional color on top of this once it's all completely dry. So I'm just going to kind of dry it just ever so slightly. Since we've already wet the aqua pigment paper, it is going to suck up the liquid very, very quickly. So that is our first coat. So any of this pulling that we have here, I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to pick that up, and then I'm just going to dip it again. And once I dip it again, it will add a whole nother layer to the top of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab some of that color off. So now you can kind of see what it looks like with the colors that are pulling inside. And you can see it looks like it's on purpose, the way that these colors are going together, but it really isn't. So I'm just going to hit it one more time and just make sure that I'm getting all of those areas. And now you can see we're getting deeper shades in different areas. So you can just kind of keep going, grab some more. Now you can overdo it. So be careful and make sure that you are not dipping too much, because you can saturate your paper too much. But I think I'm going to call that good, because I just think that's beautiful. So let me go ahead and grab my cloth, and I'm just going to take all the rest, because you'll see this is, again, that the shrink film. Look at how it just came right off of there. Done. Came right off. And now I'll be able to use that again for more ink smooshing. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to heat this up again. And if you see some areas that you want to add more to, you can absolutely do that. It is not going to hurt to add more color, but I wouldn't do it by smooshing. I would go in and I would actually grab like a, I would say like maybe like a water brush or a spray, and go in and add your color that way. All right, so I'm going to grab my paper towel again and lift up, because there's a lot of pulling here. We want to make sure that we don't have too much pulling. All right.
That is beautiful.
And then so you can see, just so simple.
Wow.
And then for the piece de resistance, we are going to use some of the Pearl Shimmer Mist, because I don't leave home without mine, and I don't think anybody... Oh, no, it wasn't a stencil, it was a stamp. It was a stamp. All right, so I'm going to grab my grid mat again, and I want you to take a look at it without the pearl, so you can see what the pearl will do to it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pearl. Just make sure, and remember, you do not want to shake these, you want to roll them. You want to roll them like this. You do not want to look. I'll tell you right now, Darren is real quick with those links tonight. That is, my goodness. I feel like I didn't even say anything. And
You're
it was
on
right.
fire.
All right, so I'm just spritzing it with a little bit of the pearl. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pat it. And the reason I'm doing that is because we already have a lot of ink on here, and we just want to give it a pearlized look. Also, the pearl is going to react with the background. So you'll notice that you can see little kind of droplets that are showing up. And now I'm going to heat set this one more time, because I have like 3 minutes until we're supposed to be in a meeting, but that's okay. I'm sure Shannon will let our inspiration team know that we're going to be a little late.
I can do that right now.
Because I just looked at the time and I was like, my goodness, I could talk to everybody all night.
Actually, I'm on my computer, so Candy, if you can, that would be great. I think most of them are here.
Right? That's I'm like, I better go run to my computer, and then I'm on it. It happens to me all the time. Okay, so now this is going to look like a crinkled mess, but that's okay. As
Thanks,
long as
Candy.
you are drying it on both sides, it will flatten out. But I'll let you in on a little secret. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, and it's going to look good as new. It's going to be super, super flat. But I am going to die cut this out, though, because I do want it to have a little bit more like on the background of the slimline. So now you can see, I hope that the camera's going to pick up. Look at all of that shine that is now on. And that was with like, what, 3 spritzes maybe? And it's so shiny and so beautiful. Now you could go in, you could add additional color if you would like. You could add more color in other areas. But I love like the tie-dye kind of more Baroque looking look to
Heather
it.
has joined us.
Yes. And you know what they always say, if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. So I think that it will, it just gives it some new life. So now I'm going to run it
asking
through.
about create your own ending.
Yes, there will be a create your own ending event this year, but it will only be in person. So the invitation or the information for that will be coming out soon, and it will be at Brutus Monroe headquarters this year. And we're hoping that Shannon will be able to be here to join us. That
sounds good to me.
That's the hope, that hopefully Shannon will be able to here to join us and teach and hang out and spend some time with us. So now you can see it's substantially flattened out. It's not a crinkly mess like it was. And now I'm just going to take the coordinating die and I'm going to position it here and I'm going to cut this out. Of course you get an invite, Sue. Of course. All right, so now Heather Collins is here, so I have to position this correctly because I always get on her every time that she uses a die. And it looks like she closed her eyes and put the die on top. So I have to make sure that I pay attention because she's going to get me if this does not die cut perfectly. All right. So let me run this through.
Christopher, Jenny wants to know if you can pull off a create your own ending in 3 weeks since they're going to be in Pittsburgh in 3 weeks.
I wish. But what you could do, Jenny, is you could come visit us and we'll give you the create your own ending treatment. But unfortunately, it takes a lot more than 3 weeks to put that event together. I wish we could do it in 3 weeks. All right, so now you'll notice that I was able to just cut that out. And now look, we have this beautiful piece, and like this, this might have scared people, these lines and these ending pieces, but be scared no more because we got rid of them with the die. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take our card base. We're going to start kind of lining this up and taking a look. I don't think, do I have a scoreboard in here? I probably do, but I have no idea where it is. So we're just going to fold this in half. Heather is away, so I'm lost where things may exist or are supposed to be, but that's okay. We're just going to, old-fashioned way, we're just going to fold her right in half. And then this will fit now perfectly onto our piece here. And it almost looks like it's like a wrap. So it looks like it's a wrap that is going around our card. So I'm going to grab very quickly, again, for the sake of time, because y'all know that I cannot get enough of this paper. So I'm going to use this in the background because, why not, right? So I'm going to use this in the background just to give it a little bit more visual interest, as if it needs any more visual interest than it already has. Whoops. Oh, that was a die cutting plate. Luckily, I'm all done die cutting because it just flew clear across the room. And we are going to cut this down so it is, we'll do 3.5, I would say, I don't know, maybe 3.5 by 4, I think would be safe. Because then that will be our background. So 3.5, and then by 4.
That is prism paper.
Yes, it's the mere stock. Yeah, buy it while you can because it is being retired. I mean, we're getting a different version in, but this version of it will be retired very soon. It's while supplies last. I think we have less than a couple hundred packs of it left. And this is what I used it for the other night. I used our piercing plate with it, and the piercing plates, they're just out of this world. All right, so I am going to grab a little bit of the Gina K adhesive. You all know this is my top 2 favorite adhesive to use. How's everyone doing? I love his craft. Hit my crafting background noises. Do you hear the hooligans outside of the window out there? I'm usually not live this late, but the pizza shop upstairs, they're rowdy at this time of night. I'll tell you, they're running up and down the driveway out there. They're having a great time because we're not usually here, so they're running around, and I think they're having fun though. Sounds like they're having fun.
There's a caravan collecting to go to create your own ending, it looks like.
Well, the crazy thing is this year we are only going to have 24 spots. That's all we'll have this year because it is a very, very, very exclusive kind of VIP thing that we're doing this year. Basically, it's an easy way for us to, or a simple way for us to say, you're getting spoiled. So there will only be 24 spots available.
Start saving now so you're ready when it gets announced.
So start planning now. We do know that it will be in August. I do know that. So it's that the plan is for August right now. It just obviously depends on how everyone's schedules work out. But it's generally in August. But we may do it sooner this year. Who knows? Oh no, I ran out of adhesive. That's okay. I have a refill around here somewhere. Plus Sue's here. Sue, I need to order a case. I need a whole case of refills because I use so much of this adhesive. I'm absolutely in love with it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cover up these 2 areas here, and we're going to kind of try to center it the best that we can. But this gives the kind of I don't know, it's just very, very elegant. Very, very elegant. And, you can kind of flip it either way, whichever way you would like for it to be.
Well, and the pearl and the prism complement each other so nicely.
Right? Sue said she's on it. Thank goodness. Woo! Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just add a little sentiment. And I love this, your only limit is you. I think this is my favorite sentiment from all of the stamps that have recently come out. And I think that I'm just going to place it right there with a couple little squares. And then I'm going to add a couple little gems, and we're going to call this card finished. Yeah, it definitely has the wow effect. That is for certain. I felt like it needed something spectacular behind it as well, because it's really, if you could see it in real life, I know it's hard to see the colors and how the colors are playing off of one another, because it is it's a little bit difficult when you're looking on the outside, looking in on the camera, because the lights are so bright. And but that is giving your only limit is you. And then I'm just going to add a couple of gems, and we're going to call that finished. But I'm hoping you can see just how, the colors that we have inside of those it's just so pretty. And then I'm going to grab my favorite gems, because y'all know I can't make a card without them. These are the Jewel Mix. They are from Buttons Galore and More. I have no idea if we still have any in stock, because every time I use them, they go and they're gone. My pup decided my aqua pigments on my desk are yummy to eat. Well, Candy, you'll be happy to know that they are non-toxic. So your pup will be okay. All of the Brutus Monroe products are non-toxic because I have a little niece and nephew, my little scoozies, that like to eat everything. So they everything had to be non-toxic. So I'm going to just do 3 little gems here, I think. And those 3 little gems are going to be, of course, the ones that I always use, which are the clear gems. I'm hoping, I mean, they're just, this whole
So pretty.
This whole collection is just absolutely stunning. And the price point, you cannot beat the price point. I know I say it every time I use them, but they are $15.99 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different jewel jars. Oh my goodness gracious, it must be late. I put that darn jewel on upside down. Hold on. I need to pay attention. Quit talking, Christopher, and try to pick up jewels at the same time. You think I would be used to this by now.
Candy, I'm glad that you were able to save your project before your dog got it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't think she was able to save the aqua pigments, but the project, right. I think is okay. I think we're okay with the project. All right, so now I'm just going to put all of these back in. Now, I have to be very careful not to lose one. We've already had one sacrifice tonight because I put it on upside down. And I cherish these. I mean, I've been using these, I think, for 2 years, and I still have all of these left. It's really wonderful. So this is the Your Only Limit Is You card. And of course, you could add some different pieces in the background. I just really, really like that it's kind of an optical illusion where you're seeing all those beautiful flowers, but you are also seeing, of course, the mirror that's there. So I'm going to say if Darren wants to put us side by side, Shannon, you can show your card as well.
You bet.
Our side by side top views, I guess.
Top view.
It's okay. He'll get used to how we're going to end it.
That's all right. It gave me time to.
Gives you time to grab it. That's all I have for tonight. Anything else you have, Shannon?
No, just I hope that you will take a look at the spring release because there's something there for everyone and it's gorgeous. You're bound to be inspired.
It really is. Well, thank you everybody for joining the 2 of us this evening. This was a special live tonight. I won't unfortunately be able to be live every Friday with Shannon, although I would love to. That's not something that I can promise you, but with this new technology that we've recently adopted at Brutus Monroe, it will make it easier and easier for us to bring guests on for our lives, which is going to be fantastic. So maybe once a month, Shannon might do a live with one of our inspiration team members because now, she's able to bring people on and she is able to chit chat. And we're planning hopefully next month to do like a spread of inspiration team members where Shannon and I kind of chat with them and we can have like the whole team talking about what they loved about the release, what was challenging and how they overcame some of the challenges of using some of the stamps with other stamps and things like that, which of course is great because every card maker faces card making block, and it's great to talk to people that have already used those products to figure out the best way to use them. So remember to like
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sorry, one quick thing. Tomorrow there is a new thing starting on the Brutus Monroe fan page on Facebook. We're going to have a weekly challenge, and so make sure that you watch the page for the announcement for the first week's challenge.
Because you can win prize. You can win. I was going to say prizes, but there's one prize. Well, there's multiple prizes a month, right? So it's
one
weekly.
Like there's 4, I think.
Yeah,
one
so it's weekly. So there's So it is prizes, but every week there is one prize that's given away, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun because we have never done challenges before in the fan page, and there are so many of you in there hanging out, and we want to engage with you as much as we can and talk about new releases and things that are happening. Plus, you've already got the products. Let's use them and let's hang out together. And
we want to see what you make.
Yeah, we want to see what you make. We know that you're buying it. We know you got it, but we want to see what you're doing it. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me and Shannon tonight. We've had so much fun with you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe wherever you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously liking and sharing helps us, or liking and subscribing, excuse me, helps us quite a bit. If you're on Facebook, you can share and you can also like there as well. But wherever you share, we sure do appreciate it. So remember to create something every single day, whether that is something with different florals for spring cards or your own ending. We appreciate you very much, and we cannot wait to see you in the next one. Goodbye, our friends.